Okay, well, we were a minute or two late in starting, so if is a quick question that anybody has before we break for the coffee? Anybody want to ask a particular question? Lydia.
Thank you both of you, Janet and Barbara, for your excellent presentations. Actually, I have a little question for each one of you, if you don't mind. One would be for Janet. Your work, you know, I know you have worked very well, very high standards, and I really appreciate it. So that's why I want to ask you this question. In one of your slides, you say that you were working in identifying training needs and identifying needs in the labor market and how you can match or foster those in academia. Could you give us an indication of what sort of processes you use to do that? What structures? And then my question for Barbara would be, do you have any special provision for women in science in your program?
So, just to check, Lydia, you're asking in terms of how we're assessing the needs for people outside higher education, in terms of the processes we're looking for. Okay, we found the research and development framework quite useful in doing that as well. What we're doing is a series of projects with the sector bodies. So, for example, the pharmaceuticals, the engineering industries. We're using the research and development framework to identify their long-term skills needs so that we can try and articulate the match between what those sectors are looking for and what can be developed as a researcher. So, I mean, we're in early stages yet because it's quite a slow process. But for example, we have mapped the research and development framework against the criteria for achieving chartered status as an engineer, so that doctoral graduates can transfer directly to chartered status immediately they graduate, rather than having to do a 2 years work experience before they're chartered, and that slows their career progression. So we're hoping to be able to develop what we would call lenses that look at the research and development framework from different perspectives. So from the perspective of working in the pharmaceutical industry, or working in the public sector, or working in the engineering requirements. So I think this will be enormously useful, even though it's quite a slow process. Oh, the other thing we're doing, which is worth mentioning, is that we're working with ADOC, which is a French organization that's done a lot of work on what competencies employers are using in terms of working out in different sectors outside higher education. So we've been doing a reciprocal mapping with that as well.
Okay, yes, we have a program called Springboard at the university, which is aimed at bringing women's confidence and assertiveness. It's about 1 month long program. It's run by my colleague Alison Trinder. We also have an informal circle of women working in MPLS. And as the third thing, I think, is that university tries to get Athena Swan silver one. So there are several departments in MPLS which already have it, and some are striving towards that. And as you know, this is going to include quite a lot of welfare for women.
Okay, before you go, actually, first of all, I'll thank the speakers, but very much for what they presented. So, but one of the organisers has had a technical announcement to make. So, thank the speakers quickly, and then we have a technical announcement.